Over to you, Shona.
Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well this morning. We have some bright sunshine out there, so I hope everyone's doing well. I'm looking forward to talking to you all about, the blessed month of Ramadan, which is shortly here, just around the corner. So thank you for being here, and I will start our presentation on welcoming Ramadan. So thank you for joining Muslim Foster Care Association here today. So Ramadan is something that is in anticipation that is coming up this week. We are all waiting expectantly for the sighting of the moon, and we are going to look forward to celebrating Ramadan, as I'm sure you all are, with everyone in your company and in your families. And we hope to include you all as well through MFCA. Can everyone see the screen? I think you can. I'm just going to minimize this so I can as well. Just get that out of the way. Okay. All right. So what is Ramadan? Many of you may know what Ramadan is. Ramadan is a month of fasting, a month of reflection. It is the fourth pillar of Islam. There is 5 pillars in Islam, and one of the most important ones, of course, is the month of Ramadan, and we fast in that month. It is called Saum or Siyam in Arabic. Muslims believe that the Quran was first revealed to the Prophet Muhammad in this blessed month, and in the last 10 days, we actually believe that there was a night in which the Quran was revealed. So I'll talk about that a little bit more later as we continue with our presentation. It is more than just a month of fasting, and it is more than it is a month of reflection, a month of introspection, a month to realize and be grateful for what we have and what others don't have. And that is something that we are constantly thinking about as we fast. So it's not just abstaining from food and water. It is a lot more than that. It is a period where you're thinking of the world, of humanity, and reflecting on you as a person in this world and how you can, be better to others, share with others, and think about, the basic necessities of life that you have that others may not have. So it becomes a special time to gather in that reflection with family, with friends, with our communities, and we break our fast together with them as well. So this is what Ramadan is, but it's a lot more than that. Well, Ramadan is the 9th month in the Islamic calendar, and it's in the Islamic lunar calendar, which means, we begin fasting when the moon is sighted. So this week, in fact, tonight, many people will go out there looking for the moon, trying to find the crescent moon. I'm not sure if it's cloudy in Michigan or not tonight, but people will do that. And I remember being a child, in India, running up to the hills with my family, trying to sight the crescent moon. It was a very exciting time, and it still is. And I still try to go out there to do that with my family if I can, especially if it's a clear night. So this is something that Muslims are expectantly waiting for to do tonight and tomorrow night, as we hope that the moon is sighted and we begin our fasting month. So the entire calendar, as you saw, because it's a lunar calendar, it moves earlier and earlier each year by around 11 or 12 days. And as I said, it takes 33 years to go around the entire calendar. So Ramadan this year is scheduled to begin March 23rd and end on April 21st. So those are generally the dates. A lot of people will begin sighting as soon as the moon is sighted, and when the new moon is sighted again at the end of the month, we end our fasting. One of the common greetings as you go around that you may hear or have heard is we will go around and we will wish each other Ramadan Mubarak. It is a greeting that we will go. It's such an exciting thing. You'll see the moon, or if you hear the moon has been sighted, you will automatically start telling people Ramadan Mubarak. You might have heard Ramadan Kareem. It is a common greeting, and it's just a beautiful, happy thing for everyone to share in that greeting and to wish each other a blessed Ramadan as the month opens up to all the blessings that we will share with each other and in our communities and in our gatherings. Well, the fast, the fast definitely entails refraining from food, refraining from drink, intimacy with our partners during the daylight hours. And it begins, in the pre-dawn hours. We'll wake up in the pre-dawn hours. We will have a meal called Suhoor. I'll talk about that later. And it's basically breakfast foods, and then it ends at sunset. So it's a long fast. And depending on what time of the year Ramadan falls, the longer days typically are in the summer, and the shorter days, which are coming up now as we inch towards winter. But typically the fast is between 12 to 16 hours. So it's a long day, and you get used to it. And your body adjusts as well. So it will begin right now. We're going to be waking up probably around 5 a.m. to have that breakfast or suhoor meal, and then we'll break fast around right now 7:50 p.m. So it's a long day. There are many goals of fasting, but ultimately the goal of fasting, is to attain that God consciousness, to attain piety, to find that within ourselves and to connect with God in a deeper level. And then through that connection, connect with each other, connect with the people around us, connect with our communities, and find ways to help each other in that as part of that goal. So you will see that, Muslims who are fasting, who are, sacrificing our food and our water intake and our drinks, they're going to be involved in a lot more than that through devotional acts and activities that we do. We will do a little bit more involved in charities. We will go and we will distribute food. We'll be with our communities and try to find meaningful work where we can engage with each other in either service projects. Different people find different ways of trying to help. But a lot of people will try to get out there and do a lot more than just fasting and not having food or drink during the day. The most important thing in Ramadan is to connect with the Quran. The Quran is the Muslim holy book. We attempt to try to read it more in the blessed month of Ramadan. And usually many of us try to complete the whole Quran by reading it daily, by reciting it out loud, by connecting with the Quran in our mosques, and attending the special daily prayers and the night prayers. So it becomes a way to increase our worship by reading the Quran and attempting to understand everything and find ways to make it meaningful to us. So it's a very it's a deep connection, more so than any other month, because Muslims believe the Quran was revealed in the month of Ramadan. One of the ways to engage in self-discipline, and it's not easy, is to be more conscious of our negative actions and to be more conscious of the fact when speaking, when we are talking, when we're at work, when with our neighbors. Daily, we're doing this anyway, but we're much more conscious of it, that we are not, upset with anybody or argue with anybody or speak ill of anyone. It's all about cultivating good character through basically our acts of kindness. We're kind to each other usually, but we go above and beyond, and we try to think about the fact that this is how it should be always, not just in the month of Ramadan, but we're more conscious of it in this month. We're trying to cultivate and find ways to behave this way all the time. And we're trying to figure out, how can we become a better person with us, with our families, with our friends, with our neighbors, and to reach out to our neighbors as well more. Fasting is a way, for me personally as well, and I'm sure many Muslims and anyone who fasts or have that discipline, it is definitely a way to learn, to cultivate, and to find ways to make it meaningful to us. So it's a very fasting is a way, to me personally as well, and I'm sure many Muslims and anyone who fasts or have that discipline, it is definitely a way to learn, to cultivate, and to find ways to make it meaningful to us. So it's a very fasting is a way, to to control, certain things that you may feel that you need to correct in yourself, and being especially grateful for what we have. Water is the basic necessity, and to leave that, you really feel it. You feel what others that you take for granted don't have, to not be able to reach out for your water bottle, and to realize that other parts of the world where there's no access to water, where they have to walk miles just to get water, you really do start praying and feeling that sense of loss for others that you readily have. And so it's a way to find compassion and feel the need for others that you already have. So it's a time to become more charitable, a time to be more generous to everyone that you feel needs something that you already have, that you can attempt to try to give to them. A typical day in Ramadan, it could be different for everybody, but you will learn that the typical day in Ramadan that is similar to everybody includes words that I'm going to use called Suhoor, Iftar, Taraweeh, a lot more than that. So let's start learning that. So Suhoor, you heard me mention it already. It's a pre-dawn meal when you're waking up in the early dawn hours, and you are rising, you're setting your alarm to wake up to have a breakfast, a meal before you join the early first prayer of the day called Fajr. And you're having healthy food. You're trying your best to eat something that your body is not going to feel ill, or something like oatmeal, something like fruit, cereals. People will have eggs, but healthy food, and not overeat, because the whole point of Ramadan is not to fill your body. So it's a healthy meal that you wake up and you have, and then as you rise and you're having that, and you make the intention to fast for the day, you really do feel that connection of you're about to enter a day where you're so conscious of your behavior and your character, and to feel that closeness to God. I really feel that in the early morning when I wake up, and then as you get ready for the first prayer of the day, which comes in shortly after that. Now, during the day, it could be a typical day for anybody. It could be a work day. It could be a school day. And even if it's a weekend, you probably have a lot going on. So life resumes when you're fasting. It doesn't stop. Some people may take a short nap right after they have their breakfast, and then they do their first morning prayers. They may have some time to take a nap and then start waking up for school and work as they normally do. People sometimes do adjust their work schedule slightly, or they make adjustments through their employers. Some schools can start a little bit late if they're going to private school, but normally life goes on, and you accommodate what you can, but you have to also struggle to do what you can while you're fasting. And you make that extra effort in this month to try to incorporate all your 5 daily prayers. It isn't easy, especially you're going about, you're working, you're doing all the things you normally do. And it can be challenging. It's challenging for not just for children, but for adults and for everybody that's doing this. And it's a time when we are supposed to also do extra stuff. So as we do all that, we're trying to also find that, that peace, that inner connection that we want from God daily in our lives. So we come together in the evening, usually at the end of the day, before we break our fast. And that is called the iftar, the time of iftar, when everybody normally tries to come together, whether in your family or you go to your community mosque, and you enjoy breaking the fast with each other, starting off with a prayer. So it's a beautiful time to leave everything aside, to not think about anything else but the fact that you fasted, and what has that done for you during the day? What has that made you think about? What has that made you see in your society and your community that you feel is missing, that you could, be that link? During the day, we really are trying to be extra kind, to remain patient when we get agitated about the small things in life that affect us, anything that can get us upset or something happen out of the way. The whole point is to be patient and to remain patient and to try to think about what, and that sometimes a lot easier to be conscious of when you're fasting, when you don't have that in and you're after a few days, when you balance off, your body adjusts to the fasting, you are really conscious of almost everything around you. And so you stop feeling the hunger, you stop feeling the thirst, and what you feel is that beautiful, deeper meaning that you're trying to find in your lives and trying to find within, what you could be for yourself and others around you. And those 5 daily prayers that you do during the day, there's more intensity in those prayers. There's more connections in those prayers. There's a communication you feel with God that's more deeper in those prayers. So as as your head touches the ground in those prayers, you really feel that beauty that you're trying to connect with, more so in Ramadan as you're fasting. Now, a lot of people, around us, in our communities and in our world today, everyone, the non-Muslims feel, they feel strange sometimes. Even my friends, can we eat around a fasting person? Can we eat? Should we even bring out our food? Oh, someone will smell. But at the same time, you know, I think while they're conscious of it, they also are realizing that we're fasting, and a lot of people would like to try to fast with the Muslims. Or it's beautiful if you are aware of that. It's beautiful if you're conscious of that, but it's okay, because at the same time, you stop becoming aware of food. It's a really strange, interesting feeling. You're not even conscious of the fact that you have to reach out for food or reach out for something that you drink during the day. Your body does adjust to the fast, and you stop thinking about it. So for those of you who have fasted or who have done any kind of fasting, I know some friends of mine who have done it, who are not Muslim, who have fasted, and they're like, you know what, I think we know what you mean. Because I think for any one of us that tries it, you understand that consciousness about eating kind of just fizzles away as you continue to fast. The breaking of the fast is, again, what I mentioned, a very blessed time. It is a time when you can fast, you can break the fast with your families. You can invite friends over, neighbors over. In majority of the Muslim countries, the schedule of work is different. So usually people just drop in when you're breaking fast. In your neighborhoods, it's like an open door policy, or you invite your friends and your neighbors, and your community can join you as well. So it's a time that when you break your fast at sunset, the fast is a beautiful thing, because you're coming together with others who have fasted and breaking your fast with you. It's typically, people do it differently. People will break their fast with dates, with water, and then they will right away do their sunset prayer, called the Maghrib prayer. And then after that, that's when they'll have dinner. Your body also doesn't want to take food right away. When you break your fast, it's really difficult to have a full dinner right away. So little by little, it makes it a lot easier. So when you break your fast with dates, which is the Sunnah, which is what the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, did, you feel that connection more. You feel the history more of how everyone used to do it from hundreds of years ago. So it is a beautiful time when people, and a lot of people will go to the mosque. So they will break their their fast with dates and water, and they will, if the mosque is closed, they will actually go to the mosque. They will join the community in the communal prayers. They will have some time up there with the community, and then they will come back home and then have dinner with the families, if you're able to, when you're able to travel to the mosque. That's another thing a lot of people will do. And if it's at the fast, if the fast is breaking at the home and they stay, then they will join prayers with their families, or it can even be prayed on your own as well. This is, it's a time to engage with others. Ramadan is, I see more people in Ramadan than I see any other time of the year. When you go and you're seeing everybody, people that you've not seen for a long time, it's because it's encouraged, and people like to be together in this month as we're fasting. Invitations, you might have received it, you might have seen it in mosques as well, open invitations to join people fasting, to have an iftar with the Muslims. Many mosques also just invite people to come in and break fast with everybody in the community. And a lot of people who sometimes miss this will join friends and family in the mosques and also in people's homes when they're invited for iftar. And I hope you have an opportunity to do that as well. If you don't, connect with me, because I know a lot of mosques that are doing this. And it's a great opportunity to sit and break fast and have that experience. Oh, wow. There's so many special foods in Ramadan. I mean, I can't tell you, there's so many cultural foods that are, coming up in this month that no other month will have. So every cultural group will have its own traditional Ramadan foods, known as the iftar, especially at the breaking of the fast at the iftar time. People will serve different things. People will serve fruit, people will serve soups, people will serve something that you're seeing in this picture, which are like samosas, or they're called sambusas. So there's a lot of ethnic food that we can talk about that people are serving, and yes, they're yummy. We try to, of course, limit how much we eat, but yeah, special treats are there, and some of these special treats are very healthy because they're trying to take into consideration that you're fasting, that you're supposed to have the protein more than anything else. So you'll see a lot of soups around in Ramadan. That people like broth type foods at the time of breaking the fast, and also at the time of suhoor when you're starting your fast. Ramadan dinners also have a variety of different ethnic foods. When guests come, when families come, when you're at the masjid or the mosque, you will see, especially when you go to the mosque, that because so many different cultures are coming together, so many different people from all kinds of backgrounds are coming together, you will see an array of food laid out, and it's beautiful because it's representing people from all over the world, and you're trying all this ethnic cuisine, which is just wonderful. Yeah, it is encouraged to break your fast with others. It is a prophetic tradition. The person who feeds a fasting person also gets a reward. So you're encouraged to invite people to break their fast in your homes, or invite them to a gathering where you are serving food because of the many blessings that you receive and hope for when you're feeding a fasting person. And you're really encouraged to send food to people who can't afford food, to people who are struggling to put food on their table, people who are just don't have the gatherings that you have and that they don't have. So a lot of the times people will go around trying to find these people and invite them, because it's so important to be together this month. I hope your foster child does, get some a chance to enjoy some treats at home. You may already have probably organized something, but there's so many different ways to find special foods that you can bring into your home this month. You'll probably see them in the grocery aisles. When I was there the other day, I saw the grocery stores, a lot of them lined up with dates, lined up with Ramadan treats and biscuits and all kinds of things. So if you go into any of these stores and ethnic grocery stores, you will see the Ramadan stuff out in the aisles. And I hope you have a chance to go and look at these. Yeah, so the night prayers are for many Muslims, they're very encouraged to go to the mosque and pray in congregation together. In Ramadan, we have special nightly prayers that are in no other time of the year. They start off with the final prayer, which is the Salatul Isha prayer. So after Muslims have their dinner, we have the final prayer of the day, which is called Salatul Isha. That prayer, usually a lot of people will go to the mosque again to connect with the community, to connect with everybody. You do the congregational Salatul Isha prayer, and then you've got these special prayers that are attached to the month of Ramadan, and they're called Taraweeh. Now, Taraweeh prayers can last a long time because the entire Quran is recited the whole month in these prayers. People join these prayers. I know a lot of Muslims try to take time off to join these nightly prayers daily until the month is completed so that they have the benefit of listening to the whole Quran in its entirety in these prayers. It is wonderful. People go and listen to different recitations in the mosque. People will sometimes go to different mosques each day if they can, or different days they'll go to hear different recitations from people around the world that are leading the prayer. So it's a time to reflect on the Quran, to reflect on the meaning of the Quran, to reflect on the message of the Quran, a time to find ways to listen to the message and also have that special idea of, God in your lives, play that central role. If you're unable to attend the Quran, you're obviously able to pray at home. It's just encouraged and it's a beautiful thing, but which doesn't mean that you cannot pray at home. And a lot of people like that too. Sometimes I like to pray at home for the quiet, for the peace that I find in my prayer when I do it at home. See a lineup of people here in this picture praying. So that's how it looks typically. I hope you've all had a chance to go to a mosque, visit a mosque, tour a mosque, and especially in the month of Ramadan, if you haven't had a chance yet, all the mosques usually are open to having visitors, and I'm sure you'll be welcomed. If you have not had the chance or opportunity, connect with me, connect with MFCA, and we will try to find you that opportunity. Now, fasting for some people is exempt. There are always reasons for people who are unable to fast, and there's always circumstances that won't allow you to fast. So people that do not have to fast are the elderly, people who have an illness, who have a certain condition which prevents them from being able to fast. I know a lot of people who are very ill that can't fast. I know people who are diabetic that cannot fast. People that travel usually don't fast. Some do, some don't. They can make up their fast later when they're traveling and don't have to fast. People that are pregnant, people that are nursing, there's a lot of exemptions for that. And so Islam makes it easy. It's not rigorous in the sense that, you don't have to fast if there's an exception, and there's many exceptions. For people that haven't been able to fast and that can fast, but weren't able to because they were breastfeeding, because they were traveling, you can always make up these fasts any other time. Or if you can't fast, you can feed poor people. You can find ways to give charity to and bring food to them to make up those fasts as well. So there's a lot of exceptions you can that prevent you from fasting, but it doesn't mean that you have to. And of course, children don't have to fast. I'll tell you though, I think around 5 or 6 in India when I just wanted to fast. I wasn't told to fast, but because I was so excited and I saw all the grownups around me fasting, I just wanted to try it. And I remember my mom and dad telling me, well, I think you can try an hour, you can try a couple of hours, and it's exciting. And I did that as a kid. And many children like to do that. Typically though, a lot of people try a full day around the ages of 9 or 10, and it's a beautiful time. And we celebrate that when our child or children or anyone in our company that is young, that wants to engage, we encourage them, but we are also careful if they're very young to say, well, it's like baby steps. So it's a beautiful time that you celebrate with them as they start and beginning to fast as well. Fasting at work could be challenging. It depends how how you can accommodate your work, how your employers can work with you to accommodate you, but at the same time, it's also possible. Fasting employees typically sometimes ask for their schedules to be adjusted in Ramadan, and many of the employers are, readily agree. I've been in many jobs where it's not been difficult for me to sometimes ask for certain times off, especially the last 10 days of Ramadan when we're trying to engage in more worship. The timing of the fast changes daily as well, so that can affect your work. And but a lot of people I know that where they can't change their work schedules, it's possible. Breaking the fast, it doesn't take long. Praying, finding space at work through your employer, if you can find a corner, it doesn't take long. So it's all doable stuff, but for some, it can be very challenging and difficult as well, depending on your workspace and where you work and travel for work as well. And a lot of employers do work with Muslims to help them. A lunch meeting, if they're scheduled in Ramadan, a lot of Muslims don't usually eat, but will attend meetings, which is okay, which is fine as well. A lot of people will take their vacation around this time in the month of Ramadan, especially the last few days, which is, I mentioned, an increased time of worship, of activities, of joining communal prayers. Our fasting youth can be supported in many, many ways. Our fasting youth, I'm sure many of you have these questions for your fasting. How can I help them? How can I help them with their meals when they're waking up to break fast, when they're getting ready for school? What do I do at school? There's a lot of things that as a parent, as a foster parent, that you can make an arrangement with the schools to allow them and to speak to the administration to see what can they do to help. And a lot of schools already know about Ramadan. I've already received literature from Ramadan. It's amazing. They're very much aware of Ramadan. And if they're not, we could certainly help give them that information and help them to understand, and allow your child to maybe opt out of certain things, opt out of strenuous activities such as gym class. If they're in an athletic team or a sports team, it's possible they may be able to take a break or have an alternate schedule, maybe lessen the intensity of the practice. All these things can, I think, work out at school, but you have to communicate with the coach, communicate with the principal, communicate with the teachers so that they know that the child is fasting that day. And to have a meal ready, when your child is home, I think it's a longer fast, so they're going to be home for a while before they can eat. So you can always make sure that a meal is ready. If they would like to eat special foods in Ramadan, to maybe ask them, well, what is it? What do they like to eat from, what kind of foods did they grow up with? What kind of foods did they have for breakfast? What kind of foods did they like to break their fast with? There's so many cultural foods that I'm sure that they can tell you about. And there's so many recipes around to help us with some of these foods. And there's so much prepared food out there that's available in the grocery stores as well, and in restaurants. How can you support them at home? I think there's many ways we can go about doing this. Because Ramadan is the month of the Quran, children also engage in reading the Quran. They're encouraged to find meaning and reflection in their lives, to understand the message. So if you don't have a copy of the Quran, certainly we can get one to you. And we can make arrangements for your foster child to attend the mosque, to have iftars at the mosque. You can go in attendance with them as well, or drop them off and pick them up. If you need information about that, reach out to me and I can certainly help connect you and the children as well. And there are night prayers. A lot of youth like to be in attendance in those night prayers. They can go late. They can go as late as 11 o'clock. And then the next day could be a school night, a school day, a work day for you. So you may have to work that out and see, well, how will I be able to do this? Is this something they can do? Can we try it on weekends? just talk to them and see how it works for you in your household. So this is the night I talked about. It's called the night of decree. Sometimes you will hear it called the night of power. It's called Laylatul Qadr. So Laylatul Qadr, this night of power, Muslims look for it in the last 10 days of Ramadan, usually in the odd nights of the last 10 days. It's the special night of Laylatul Qadr, which basically Muslims believe, that the Quran was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, on this night. So on this night, Muslims are looking at engaging in extra worship, engaging in being more close to God, finding ways to connect with the message, finding ways to really understand the message as well. And so you will see in the last 10 days, the mosques are full because you're listening to the Quran recitation, reading the Quran nightly, and people also the last 10 days live at the mosque. There are many people who will go and do something called itikaf, which is extra blessings, and they will actually go and they'll stay at the mosque. You can do it in your home too, but a lot of people will do these. They sleep at the mosque, they stay at the mosque in the last 10 days because of the special night that also falls in. Typically, people believe it's the 27th of Ramadan. And so when you say the 27th, it's really the night before at sunset. So if the day begins at sunset, that's already the 27th. And so when you've got the 27th, it's really the 26th night. So just so you're clear on that, on the Laylatul Qadr night. So a lot of people, especially on the 26th, you will see the mosques hopping. You will see it full. You will see a lot of people go there to just sit and even reflect, to be in their own spaces, even at the mosque. And people stay up all night on this night, if not every night during the last 10 days. It is hard. It is straining on your body. But at the same time, you are aware of so much around you and so much that you need to do as self-improvement for yourself. So it is a beautiful time as well. And you can do that at home or in the mosque gatherings. While celebrating the end of Ramadan, it's again an expectant time when you're waiting and waiting, and then the last 10 days are over just as quickly as Ramadan came. Ramadan ends. Ramadan ends with one of two Eids in Islam. This is called Eid al-Fitr. So Eid al-Fitr means the festival of breaking the fast. People are just joyous that they have completed the month, that they are going to carry on what they have decided they would like to be and change and keep with them. So it comes at a time, when you're engaging in so much deep connection with God, but when it happens and Ramadan ends, you don't want it to end. You want it to stay. And then when you break the fast and the month is over with everybody and you're connecting, it is a holiday. It is a holiday that you're celebrating because you finished the fasting. You found ways to change, connect with your community, with yourself, with your family. And you celebrate that with so many different things. You celebrate that by buying clothes, by giving gifts, by engaging in beautiful, special prayers. You go to the Eid prayer, which is a special prayer that you do at the end of the month for Eid al-Fitr. With your community, with your family, you dress in party clothes, you give children treats, you have lots of things that you do for children in terms of entertainment. You go to parks, you will see families out at restaurants enjoying food. So it's a time of celebrating, a time when you go around and you say Eid Mubarak. So at the beginning of the month, you said Ramadan Mubarak. So at the end of the month, you say Eid Mubarak, which means, blessed holiday. This is Ramadan. I hope I painted a picture, a small little picture of what Ramadan is all about. There's a lot more to Ramadan than I put together in this small mini presentation here for us, but it's much more meaningful. to us and to everyone around us. And we hope that we can make you part of this when we are talking about this, when we're telling you about this. And if you have any ideas of how I can help you connect and help your children that you have with you connect, you should definitely reach out to me. Here's the fun part of the presentation is the questions that you might have. Let me know what you think. Let me know any comments you might have for us, or anything I can do to give you a better understanding of Ramadan, inshallah.
Thank you so much, Shona. While we're waiting for any questions to come through, I did just want to make an announcement that the MFCA is working to provide iftar meals. So that's the breaking of the fast meal that Shona mentioned earlier. We are working to provide those for any Muslim foster child who lives in a residential facility, who lives in a foster home, any child. We're working with all the agencies to make sure that we can provide them with one iftar meal weekly on Fridays. So, please reach out to us if your youth has not been connected and has not, gotten the invitation for those iftar meals. Again, there's so much reward in providing that iftar meal for others. And also we think it's beautiful for the youth to be able to spend time together in community and break the fast together. So please reach out to us if you would like your youth to be connected and to also receive an iftar meal on every Friday of Ramadan. We're also working to do an Eid brunch. So we're working with Bethany to provide that as well. And we can also connect you with your local mosque and any activities that they have going on for Eid. So you can always reach out to the Muslim Foster Care Association. I'll put out our email and our phone number in the chat, and you can go ahead and reach out to us if you have any questions about that. Otherwise, if anyone has any questions about Shona's presentation, about the month of Ramadan, about any accommodations you can make for your foster child, any youth that you care for, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask that question.
So I do have a question. I have seen on, when you look up Ramadan and like when does it start, it says either 22nd or 23rd. So from what I'm hearing, like the fasting starts on Thursday of like the 23rd. Is that correct?
That's right. Yes, it is. It's supposed to start Wednesday night, which is Thursday. Yes. So the first day will be Thursday.
Thank you.
Yes, that's correct.
And Heather had a question in the chat, where do the Friday meals take place? So we're having them all over, basically, depending on where your foster youth is located. If you are in the Grand Rapids area, we are hosting it at the Bethany conference room. So that's on the Bethany Grand Rapids campus. So you can reach out to us and let us know if you would like more information. We can give you the exact address. And that will be held on every Friday of Ramadan at around, we'll start it at about 7:45 to get everyone together. And then we can go ahead and get started, with the breaking of the fast meal at 8 p.m. We'll also have someone there to lead the prayers with the youth all together. And it should be a nice and festive time. If you're not in Grand Rapids, we do have other locations like in Jackson, Kalamazoo, even in Southeast Michigan. So just let us know where you're located and we will connect you with an iftar that's happening in your area.
And if you'd like any recipes too, we can do that too. We can share some recipes.
I just had a quick question when you said the 26th was the special day, and so that doesn't mean March 26th. Does that mean like
the 26th Ramadan?
So it'd be like April 18-ish around?
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Okay, gotcha.
That's right. That's a very special night. Exactly. So it's the night before. So it's the 26th day of Ramadan, basically that evening time when the sun sets.
Cool.
Yeah.
And I just wondered about this. If a foster parent was wondering how to connect with a mosque and maybe drop off a kiddo late at night and go, try to get some transportation or have them embraced when they come in, which I'm sure happens. Could they just call their local mosque and try to hook up with somebody that could sort of, they drop them off, they get enveloped with that person, like the person they could check in with?
Yeah, I would connect with us directly, and we can actually connect you with someone trusted at that local mosque.
All right.
We have a lot of contacts of mosques all over the state. So depending on where that person is located, we can basically, connect them with someone, responsible at the mosque who can, make sure that the youth is safe and okay, and also welcome them to the mosque, because, entering somewhere where you're not really familiar can be hard the first time. So definitely. And also, I wanted to mention, if any foster families or anyone who would like to join the youth at those nightly prayers, you're more than welcome to. Also, if the community is having a community iftar, you are more than welcome to join that as well. So again, if you need any contacts, or you need to be connected with a local mosque, just reach out to us and we'll make it happen.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, there are a lot of mosques out there that will, I'm sure, completely work with you to welcome you.
So I think Joelle had a question in the chat too about if would
Yes.
foster parents be able to join the child? Absolutely, you would be more than welcome to. And again, if you reach out to us, we can connect you directly with someone at the mosque who would be able to meet you there. And we can even give you a schedule of the prayer times and the meal times that are offered at that mosque too. So if there are any questions about that, you can reach out to us directly.
So you had an excellent training, I don't know how long ago, about attending mosque and customs, honor, ritual, which was excellent. You probably have that on your website because you have everything wonderful on your website, but I just wanted to bring that up. I was remembering that certain things to be mindful of to enter that space.
Absolutely. Thank you, Teresa. Yes, we have all of our previous presentations on our YouTube page. So I'll go ahead and link that as well. So you can go ahead and take a look back at the mosque etiquettes presentation. We also have a presentation, that we've done previously about the month of Ramadan too. So if you want to check that out, if you wanted more information. So I'll go ahead and link that. Thank you, Teresa.
Great. Any more questions? Anything we can help you with? Making it easier for you during the day, or any
So this is my second Ramadan with my kids, but I always learn something new every year. So one thing that I didn't hear about just was really helpful for me to know last year was that the kids will sleep a lot more than normal. And that's like, with trauma kids, you never know if that's like a depression thing or whatever, but like it is normal for the kids to sleep a lot, at least in my experience with the kids. So I just kind of wanted to say that too, that like, don't think your kids are going through some like major depressive state. They're just really hungry and their bodies are tired. So
that's true. You're definitely also more fatigued. You don't, you have a lot more fatigue. You do have a lot of lack of sleep because of the extra stuff you're doing. And then that will have an impact on the body. And I'm so glad you mentioned that, Nicole, because you do, people, especially our youth and even adults, they will try to find like a cat nap during the day, and that will actually re-energize you. And I think it's important maybe for especially kids, if they can find that type to take a quick nap when they get home, that might even help with some of the lethargy or anything like that. But I'm glad you mentioned that. And waking up in the morning for school could be a challenge because of that, because of the late night prayers and being able to get up and school times, doesn't change. So. Anything else? And do reach out to us if you have any questions about where to shop as well. We may be able to give you some recommendations if you would like that as well. I'm sure many of you probably know, but there are some good stores out there.
If there are no other questions or comments, we can go ahead and close out. Thank you everyone for your time this morning. Thank you, Shona, for a great presentation about the month of Ramadan. And like we mentioned earlier, any questions, any comments, doesn't matter, please just send them our way. We are happy to help, happy to, help you make this Ramadan special for your Muslim foster child or youth that's in your care. And again, we appreciate you, and thank you so much for everything that you do for Muslim foster children. Have a
Thank
wonderful
you.
day.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for the learning. Have a wonderful day.
You as well. Thank you.
Thank you.